What if everything you were told about losing belly fat was not just wrong, but was actually making it worse? What if the early mornings, the grueling cardio sessions, the sweat, the suffering, the calorie cutting, what if all of that was triggering a biological response inside your body that was locking your belly fat in place harder than before you started? That is not a theory. That is biochemistry. And once you understand it, you will never approach belly fat the same way again. Here is what nobody tells you. Visceral fat, the stubborn fat wrapped around your organs, does not respond to punishment. It responds to signals, and most popular fitness advice sends exactly the wrong signals. Today, I'm going to show you 5 walking hacks built on real metabolic science that send the right ones. No gym required, no destroyed joints, no cortisol spikes, just biology working in your favor, finally. The reframe. Picture the average January gym scene. People sprinting on treadmills, purple-faced, drenched, miserable. They're working incredibly hard, and for most of them, the belly fat will not move. After weeks of punishment, their midsection might actually look more distended. Why? Because high-intensity exercise triggers a stress response that chemically instructs the body to hold on to abdominal fat as a survival mechanism. Your body has a fuel preference system. Scientists measure it using the respiratory exchange ratio, or RER. When the RER is near 1.0, you're burning almost pure glucose. When it drops closer to 0.7, you're burning almost pure fat. High-intensity cardio drives your RER toward 1.0. Your body reads the spike in heart rate as a crisis, abandons fat as too slow, floods the system with glucose, and when that runs out, triggers cortisol to break down muscle protein for more sugar. You burn calories, but not belly fat calories. And cortisol, the stress hormone now flooding your system, is the exact molecule that tells your body to store more visceral fat as emergency reserve. Walking, done correctly, keeps your RER near 0.7. Your nervous system stays calm, oxygen flows abundantly, and your mitochondria, the fat-burning engines inside your cells, run at full capacity. Fewer calories burned per minute, yes, but the percentage coming directly from visceral fat stores, dramatically higher. Now, let's make it even more powerful. Hack 1. The post-meal glucose strain. The single most powerful time to walk, if belly fat is your goal, is within 10 to 20 minutes after your largest meal of the day. Here's the mechanism. When you eat, blood glucose rises, and your pancreas releases insulin to shuttle that glucose into cells. But if you carry belly fat, you almost certainly have some degree of insulin resistance. The cells are not responding, so the pancreas pumps out more insulin. Excess insulin in the bloodstream is a direct chemical signal to store fat abdominally. The hack is bypassing that broken system entirely. Your muscle cells have a secondary entrance that does not require insulin. It's a transporter protein called GLUT4. When your muscles physically contract, when your legs are literally moving, the mechanical action pushes GLUT4 to the cell surface independently. Your muscles pull glucose out of your bloodstream before it can spike insulin, before it can reach the liver and convert to visceral fat. 10 to 15 minutes of easy walking after eating is not just burning a few extra calories, it's intercepting the fat storage signal at the source. Hack 2. The closed mouth rule. Breathe only through your nose during the entire walk. Inhale nasally, exhale nasally. This is not a wellness trend. This is one of the most important metabolic regulators you can apply to any movement. Most people think CO2 is just waste you exhale, but there's a principle in physiology called the Bohr effect. Hemoglobin, the protein that carries oxygen through your blood, requires CO2 to release that oxygen into your tissues. When you breathe through your mouth, you dump CO2 too fast. Your blood holds oxygen too tightly, and your fat-burning mitochondria are starved of the oxygen they need to oxidize fat.
Less oxygen means less fat burning, even though you are exercising. Nasal breathing preserves CO2, optimizes oxygen delivery, and triggers the release of nitric oxide, which dilates blood vessels and directly activates the parasympathetic nervous system. You are burning fat while simultaneously signaling your entire nervous system to calm down. That combination is exactly what visceral fat responds to. Use nasal breathing as your built-in speedometer. If you feel the urge to open your mouth and gasp, you are walking too fast. Slow down. Your pace should always stay within the range where nose breathing is effortless. That zone is your fat-burning zone. No monitor required. Hack 3. Add a small load. Your body adapts fast. Walk the same route at the same pace for 3 weeks, and it will burn noticeably fewer calories by week 4. This is metabolic adaptation, and it kills most walking programs. The solution is not walking faster, because faster breaks the nasal breathing rule. The solution is adding weight. Wear a backpack with 5 to 10 pounds inside, a couple of water bottles, some books. This is called rucking, and the physiology behind it is remarkable. The added load recruits your core, lower back, glutes, and postural muscles, turning a lower body activity into a full body stabilization event. It activates type 2 muscle fibers without the joint impact of running. Studies show this increases caloric burn by 20 to 30% without meaningfully raising heart rate. But the deeper mechanism is a hormone released by your bones under load called osteocalcin. This underappreciated metabolic messenger communicates directly with your pancreas, improving insulin secretion, and with your fat cells, encouraging them to release stored fat as fuel. A backpack is not just extra resistance, it is a hormonal trigger that extends your fat-burning window long after the walk ends.
Hack 4.
Look up and look out. Where your eyes point during a walk has a direct and measurable impact on your cortisol levels. Since cortisol is the primary chemical driver of visceral fat storage, this is not a small detail. It is central to the whole strategy. When you stare at a phone screen while walking, you use what neuroscientists call foveal vision, narrow, focused, tunnel-like attention. Evolutionarily, foveal focus meant one thing: you were tracking a threat. Your brain's threat detection center, the amygdala, responds by staying activated. Cortisol stays elevated. You are moving your body, but keeping your stress system switched on. The antidote is panoramic vision, also called optic flow. When you let your gaze rest on the horizon and allow your peripheral vision to take in the environment as you move forward, the passing objects on either side create a natural visual flow pattern. Research shows this specific pattern of forward motion with wide visual scanning directly inhibits amygdala activity. Anxiety drops, cortisol steps back, the nervous system shifts into parasympathetic mode. Leave your phone in your pocket, walk outside, look forward, let your eyes naturally scan the landscape. Within minutes, your breathing deepens, your thinking clears, and a real, measurable sense of calm settles in. That calm is your cortisol declining, and cortisol declining is belly fat losing its reason to stay.
Hack 5. The fasted morning window. If you want to accelerate everything, add a short walk before breakfast. The metabolic conditions in the morning are fundamentally different from any other time of day, and they are uniquely suited for burning visceral fat. Overnight, your liver glycogen has been partially depleted. Insulin is at its lowest point in the entire 24-hour cycle. When you introduce movement in this state, there is no insulin blocking fat release, no full glycogen tank competing as fuel.
Free fatty acids from your visceral stores mobilize into the bloodstream rapidly. A 20-minute fasted walk draws directly from the fat you are trying to eliminate, not from your last meal. But there is a second benefit that most people completely overlook. Getting natural morning light into your eyes within the first hour of waking anchors your circadian rhythm. It locks your cortisol peak to the morning, where it belongs biologically, and ensures it drops steadily through the day. People who miss morning light often have cortisol patterns that stay elevated into the evening, disrupting sleep. Poor sleep, even 2 consecutive lights, measurably worsens insulin sensitivity the next day. Your morning walk is not just burning fat today, it is engineering the hormonal environment that makes fat burning easier tomorrow and compounding that advantage every single day. Stack these 5 hacks together and understand what you are actually doing. You are not just going for a walk, you are draining glucose before it becomes fat. You are optimizing oxygen delivery to your mitochondria. You are recruiting more muscle and releasing osteocalcin. You are shutting down your amygdala and pulling cortisol out of the equation. You are creating the precise hormonal conditions your body needs to finally let go of the fat it has been holding. None of this requires suffering. It requires understanding. When you know which levers to pull and why, the actions stop feeling like punishment and start feeling like precision. Your body was never broken. It was just receiving the wrong instructions. Tonight, do not plan a workout. Plan a walk. Grab a backpack. Close your mouth. Look at the horizon. Let biology do the work.